little spinny bit.
Gotcha.
Your arms are just too short to box with God. Hold one. Andre. Yes! From out of nowhere. Hold two. Arm bar.
Who are you to doubt El Daniel?
Still got 200 more. This is Robbie Eagles.
This is the loosest in Australian wrestling, Adam Brooks.
Hi, this is Mimic. This is 5 times the world's heavyweight champion, the Scrap Daddy himself, Scrap Iron Adam Pearce.
This is Brian Alvarez, and you are listening to Wrestle Radio Australia.
Welcome to the show, folks. My name is Josh Sharma, and thanks very much for downloading Wrestle Radio Australia. This is our first episode.
Oh, yeah!
G'day, this is Big Brody Marshall.
This is Brian Alvarez.
This is Dean Brady of the Millennials.
This is Jurassic Punk Sid Parker.
How many of you guys have heard the term kayfabe?
Hello, doggers. This is Jay Hunter from OSW Review.
This is Matt Grim Basso.
This is the loosest in Australian wrestling, Adam Brooks.
This is Scrap Iron Adam Pearce, and you are locked in
to Wrestle Radio Australia.
I in the game, I'm champion, I'm Triple H. Undertaker, I'm your maker, buried the brother like Kane. Ooh, 1-3, hit the tombstone, hit the choke slam on face. Ooh, yeah, like a macho heel, tell like I'm Tommaso. If you suffer like tomatoes, I'ma keep a couple models. Ooh, and you may call me HBK. When I'm tuning up the thing, you best be getting in my way. Ooh, yeah, I'm degenerate, I love it, yes, I love it. If you wait down with that, then I got 2 words for you, suck it. Too sweet, put your fangs up. Too sweet, hold another cup. Let's be busy, 23, got me feeling way too sweet.
I was trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, and it was just awful.
I've turned chicken salad into chicken shit. I will continue to do so.
Here I was, blaming AEW for feeding you chicken shit, knowing you mindless millennials would be eating it up as if it were chicken salad, when it's really been your fault all along.
Make chicken salad out of chicken shit. People is as people does, that's all there is to it. But a square peg in a round hole just never seems to fit.
This is Bianca Belair.
Hey, this is Kevin Owens.
Hey, it's Seth freaking Rollins.
It is the man, Becky Lynch.
It's Rhea Ripley here, and you're listening to Wrestle Radio Australia.
Hello and welcome to Making Chicken Salad, the Wrestle Radio Australia show, where we talk about everything going on around the world of wrestling. I am your host, Lachlan Albert, and I am joined by the best wrestling podcaster Adam Pearce could find. It's Jeff Setti. Jeff, good to see you, brother.
Yeah, that's me. I am the best wrestling podcaster Adam Pearce could find. I want that as my, you know how,
your little
got his, my little headline there. How are you, mate? I'm well.
I'm doing good too, mate. It's been hot up here in Queensland, and I think that heat might be affecting our mate Todd's internet and computer because he is struggling to get in right now. But he will join us when he is able. But there's another thing that's
just quickly before you start, for everyone watching or listening in, I've had internet issues for the last couple of shows. They're finally solved. NBN is here. Hooray! Sorry.
Hooray! And I'll tell you another thing that has been particularly hot this past week is Australian wrestling and watching what's gone up online, including the Mayhem Pro Summer Showcase, which we are going to be talking about tonight. It's, the thing that we always love to say, free on YouTube. It's always excellent to see when there's more free wrestling content going up on YouTube. And Todd is here to join us. Hello, Mr. Eastman.
Mm-hmm. Hello. I don't know how long for, so I might drop in and out. Yeah, because my thing is giving me the shits right now.
Hooray!
Yeah. Before you joined, we decided it was going to be a clean podcast. Neither of us swear. Todd comes in. There we go. We're going back to...
well, that's where you fucked up.
To the R rating. So, you fucked up, Todd.
We built a reputation on being smutty, so I mean...
That's right. And if you stick around for the second half, I'm going to take my top off. Now let's get into the Australian wrestling that's going on. Mayhem Pro Summer Showcase happens.
That kills the outbreak.
It's gone up for free on YouTube. Yeah, thanks, Todd. absolutely get around it. And if you have watched the show, or if you've not watched the show and you want to be part of the conversation, come on over to twitch.tv/WrestleRadio Australia. Be part of the chat. We can shout you out, talk back and forth. But until you're here, Mario Magazine says, please don't. I'll see how long I can keep that, Mario. We've got
Todd,
Mayhem Pro Summer Show.
Could you turn your speakers off, mate? There's an echo. I think Todd's frozen again.
He's frozen. I'm going to mute him until his mic's fixed, just in case.
Thank you, mate.
Mute that microphone there. Problem may have solved itself, I think.
I think we're back to two for most of the night, but...
To kick off the Mayhem Pro Summer Showcase, the Musketeer defeating Killian Bates. Now, we've spoken about the Musketeer a few times before. A few things that I really like about the Musketeer, and I thought he showed off well in this match. The character's so silly and goofy that it's clearly over with that crowd. And there's a few old school moves that he employs in his arsenal that I really enjoy, like using those atomic drops and reverse atomic drops. I think is great for a character who, you know, is using an old school style of gimmick. I think that's really fun. I will say that the finisher of the belly to belly didn't quite get all that it needed with the way it was hit for the finish on this one. That I don't know that that's an always thing. That might have just been one that didn't go off quite as it was meant to in this particular match. But that was a bit disappointing for what was otherwise quite a nice match. I liked Killian Bates' performance here, playing a great heel to Musketeer's face. I enjoyed this one. Jeff?
Yeah, I did too. The Musketeer's got a lot of upside. You know, he's a pretty big bloke. He's got a decent amount of size. But yet he can still move in that ring really nicely. Killian Bates I'd not seen before, and I was really happy to watch him. He looks good. He looks like he's got a lot of ability to be a shit, you know, and the presentation with the balaclava coming out. I really like that. I enjoyed this as well, mate. I thought this was a really, really fun match. Incidentally, it's great to see Pario Magazine giving Todd shit from behind the computer and also from another city, but he might be there in February.
Interesting. Let's move on then and talk about a tag team match. This one had the Cycle in the form of Isaiah and Ezekiel defeating Elaine Hope and Erica Reed after Erica was distracted by Jab, I believe, who was at the entrance. Unfortunately, for the viewing this on YouTube, there was no commentary and no footage of that entrance ramp. So Erica was clearly distracted by something and then got rolled up. Jeff?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the no commentary, you can kind of go, well, it's you know, as we said last time we looked at Mayhem, it's a shame. It would be a nice thing to add on to give backstory to storylines, but it's very expensive, and you can kind of understand why. And they want to get them out quickly so they can highlight the people who are in this company. I think it is a shame that we missed that, but the criminal thing is not taking a shot of it, even a still photo with some words underneath, you know. But that's hindsight, really. Look, I really like Isaiah and Ezekiel. I think they're a great tag team with a lot of potential, a really good look. And I think that the whole thing with the Cycle is really, really curious. We have mentioned before, it's one of the hottest storylines going around at the moment. Elaine Hope continues to improve, and Erica Reed is Erica Bloody Reed. I mean, you know, couldn't you say?
Yeah, I was quite impressed with Elaine Hope here. I thought she did a great babyface in peril in this tag match. Todd, what did you think of the Cycle versus Elaine Hope and Erica Reed?
There were spots there where the psychology.
Yeah, we're not getting a lot from you, Toddy. I'm sorry, mate.
Yeah, a bit rough there on Todd's end, unfortunately. Looks like this might be a two-hander tonight, but that's okay. That means we can move on and talk about the Lockie Hendricks promo that came next on this show, which I've got to say, again, was a little bit unfortunate just in terms of the readability, how easy it was to hear what was going on the YouTube version of the show. Obviously, Lockie can talk, and everything that I got was really strong, but this was clearly mic'd up for the crowd and not so much mic'd up for the live or the recorded.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's Lockie. He speaks really well. In terms of the promo, it was a little difficult to hear. I agree with you. Maybe subtitling it would have helped. Was what I thought. And yeah, I give Mayhem a little bit more leeway because they're not, they're not an MCW. They're not a Renegades, but they're not pitching themselves to be. They're pitching themselves to be a little more rustic, which is great. I like it. So yeah, subtitles would have helped there, but Lockie, you kind of get the idea of what Lockie's saying.
Yeah, and the booze put across what he's doing, right?
Yeah. He's so good. He's such a talent. He was my pick for Wrestler of the Year in Australia last year, and there's a good reason for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got Nick Galea in the chat saying the Cycle tag team are money. Ezekiel/Magnus being at MCW Endgame, and Isaiah/Mitch Connors is the next guy who's going to blow up in Melbourne in 2025. So big prediction there from Mr. Galea. Yeah, I like what they're doing there as well. And I like more of the gimmick stuff that they're doing with the Cycle as well, which I'll talk about in a bit. But let's move on to the next match on the card, which was Nate Hunter and TJ Wilde. Now, I've seen a fair bit of Nate Hunter before, but as far as I know, this was my first experience with TJ Wilde. What did you think of him, Jeff?
I think he was quite impressive. Like, he had really nice presence about him. Both guys did. I mean, obviously Nate Hunter's been around for a while, but there was so much to like about TJ Wilde. While this wasn't the longest match, it was really nice. Great match.
Yeah, and it definitely got Nate Hunter over as the chicken shit heel, right? He did everything a chicken shit heel is supposed to do, and that got the crowd behind TJ Wilde, who performed really well. I'll shout out Matt in the chat, who said it's fantastic that talent like Lockie get around the showcase events. Great inspo for the young trainees and talent. Yeah, couldn't agree more. It's really excellent when, and like we'll talk later in a couple of matches time, having matches with the trainers. You've got people like JXT who are doing all the work there, like Jake Navarra, but guys like Lockie Hendricks who are established but keep working, keep showing up with the younger talent is excellent stuff. Yeah, I thought TJ Wilde put on a really good face performance here. I think Nate Hunter did exactly what Nate Hunter had to do. I thought that this one was quite enjoyable. Moving on from that was a one-on-one between Blake Malik and Scotty Roach, which I'm a little bit more critical of, not necessarily for anything that happened during the match, but I think these two guys would have actually benefited and had a better match had it been a little bit shorter. I do think that they put on a great match. They put on a great 10-minute match over the course of 15 good minutes.
Yeah. I would completely agree with you. Both guys played their parts really well. Both guys knew what they were doing and kind of, benefited and helped each other. I'm just laughing. You can hear me laughing because Todd's just jumped back in. Nick Galea just saying that was TJ Wilde's debut match. He was great. He was really good. Yeah, there was a lot to like about Blake Malik and Scotty Roach if it was 10 minutes.
Yeah. And that's not a shot at anything they did. I just straight up think that it would have been a better match if it was shorter, and they did mainly the same stuff. I think a couple of shortened sections and some cut spots would have made it tighter and a bit more watchable. Todd, have we got you now, mate?
Well, I'm just trying this on my iPad while I'm trying to get my actual laptop to work. So
the determination on the boy to make the show. You know,
he's got the tin can on the string going. What did you think of Blake Malik and Scotty Roach, mate?
I was confused because Blake comes out with the guitar, being cool as shit, and he's a heel. I'm like, when he that's not, for me, that's not helping the babyface get over. When you're coming out there and you're like, cool dude, like doing a guitar solo one of the way to ring, people are going to see that and go, yeah, that's pretty sick. That's pretty awesome. That's not what you want as a heel. The last thing you want as a heel is for them to go, oh, that guy's cool. You don't want that. So that for a start was just it threw me because I'm like, oh, I literally thought, oh, maybe he's a babyface here. And then when he took the guitar off and was just acting the way he acts as a heel, I'm like, oh, okay, he's not. He's just the same character, but now he plays a guitar. So that the match itself was fine. It was very like Roach came out. Roach for his part came out really exuding that baby face. Yeah, come on, let's go. Like that's in. So you knew he was a baby face from the jump, which was good. But it was just there was that disconnect for me before the match. The match itself was fine. He was like Blake's a good worker. Obviously a good worker. He's been on MCW, so like he's obviously a good worker. But there was just that disconnect for like just the entrance alone, like threw me. I don't know if you guys feel the same way.
But Malibu Stacy's got a new hat. Yeah, it didn't bother me. I get what you're saying though. Like it definitely could have come off as a face gimmick. I didn't feel like it did to me, but that's a personal thing. Jeff?
See, but here's the thing: you shouldn't be doing stuff like that if you are the heel. You shouldn't come out and look cool playing a guitar if you are the heel. And I agree with Todd there that it did create a disconnect. I actually went, oh, Malik's a face here. And then I heard some of the crowd reaction trickle through and things like that. And I'm like, all right, that's confusing as shit. If he was really bad at the guitar, like really, really bad at the guitar, that would be a heel move. But he's actually competent. So it's got this disconnect of, okay, he's competent at the guitar. He's not horrid as a wrestler. Yet he's getting booed. Anyway, welcome back.
Yeah, I would have enjoyed if he had just come out like poorly playing Smoke on the Water. That'd be a fun heel.
I would have preferred it. Do you know what I wanted? I wanted him to come out and only know one song. Now it's expensive, but had JXT and Funtime Phil bought the rights to Never Gonna Give You Up, and that's all he fucking plays, that would be amazing.
All right, moving on from Malik and Roach and into a match that was a bit chaotic. The Physicals and Happy Gas defeating Team High Country in 8-man tag action. I think that putting the Physicals and Happy Gas together was a stroke of genius because I love both of those tag teams. I think they're both so much fun. I think you're on the same page, at least with the Physicals, Todd.
Yeah, Physicals are one of my favorite tag teams at the moment. So, I was actually disappointed. I'm like, oh, I just wanted to see him be a tag. I want a tag match.
Yeah,
I'll jump in. Nick Galea in the chat says, as a metalhead guy, I think his character is supposed to be a wanker, referring to Blake Malik here, as in he's competent but thinks he's Eddie Van Halen. It's not a world away from Kingsley as a heel. Like that, again, I think we said the same about Kingsley, where we said she's almost too good for it to be a gimmick where if she was a little worse, the gimmick would make more sense. You know what I mean? It's the curse of being good enough that the needle is harder to thread.
And I'm
Andy
sure
from
there-
Bob Backlund Refrigeration says, before memes existed, a guitarist drawing Heat would have only needed to play Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah. I think, and you know, there are people who actually, and this isn't meant in a derogatory sense when I say actually, but there are people that really like the song that Kingsley does, and they actually clap along or listen, probably stream it a bit on iTunes or Spotify. So, you know, it's a thin line they're treading there.
Yeah, and I think you run the same risk with the guitarist gimmick. But it didn't bother me as much as others in the podcast. That's fine. So, yeah, big fan of the physicals here. We're once again down to just the two of us. How delightful. I really like Happy Gas. I like especially, you know, the massage gimmick, I think is a lot of fun. I kind of didn't get why the match was happening as much, but you know, that's much of a muchness, right? It was a good tag match that got 8 people on a show, but yeah. I also would have rathered to see 2-on-2 rather than 4-on-4.
I like this a lot. I agree with you. I would have rather seen 2 separate tags than 4-on-4, but I think Mayhem are sort of playing with the tag division a little bit. Todd, you're in and out more than...
I hate my life. I hate my life at the moment. I'm just saying.
But I thought what we got of this match was really good. I really enjoyed all 8 competitors. The physicals have so much babyface appeal to them. You know, they're bad diction away from being Marty Jannetty. And I mean that in the most complimentary way possible, because Marty's fantastic. No, they're both really, really good. I like Happy Gas, and I enjoyed the quartet of Team High Country. I think they really work together. Kano's a pretty talented guy. He's beginning to really get some chops together, so well done to Kano. But yeah, really good. Liked it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can't hear you, Lachlan.
What's happened? Can you really not hear me? Hang on.
Todd stopped out again. Jesus. Yeah,
how about now?
Yeah, now I can hear you, mate.
Great. I'm going to blame Todd for that one. Yeah, after this, we had an opportunity for a couple of big meaty men to meet with Cousin Ali defeating Paul Fury. And I was really impressed with Paul Fury here. We've spoken before about how exciting it is when you get a big guy who can move. And that's absolutely what we got here in the form of Paul Fury. I think it makes sense for Cousin Ali on this showcase show, the more experienced wrestler, to come out on top. But Cousin Ali, I think, did a good job for what he was there to do. But Paul Fury is much more exciting for me with the potential that he brought to this match.
Oh, absolutely. And at this point, I'd also like to shout out the word of Zali Gold, the ring announcer. She did a great job. She was vocal and really, really spot on. So well done to Zali. I liked your work in this. I agree with you. I think this is another one of those. We'll put the trainer out with the young boy, and so they put Ali out there with Paul Fury. Maybe not a trainer, but you know, he's obviously got the runs on the board. And I think Paul Fury, you know, he's got a big upside to him. I think, you know, with more training and more appearances, the kid will go far. And you know, he looked really good in this.
Absolutely. Moving on from that, we had, as you've mentioned, the trainer coming out to work with a young'un. Jake Navarra defeating Matty Hayne. No surprise of a result there, considering Jake Navarra is, you know, one of the relentless trainers. It's his nickname is plastered over the school. That's got to mean something, right? So Jake Navarra, obviously a really solid worker, giving Matty Hayne the chance to show off what he could do. I quite enjoyed this match.
I did it as well. I thought this was really, really good, and I'm just popping for Matt Hustwaite's joke of, well, here comes the Hayne. Not quite the size of Brock Lesnar, mate, but good guess. No, I enjoyed this. Jake Navarro's got such a, it's almost a shame no one's picked him up as that cocky, cool heel, but he was really, he worked well with Hayne. And Nick is informing us here that it's another first match from this show too. He was really good. It's so impressive and good what Mayhem do. Todd said when I mentioned that Mayhem should be thought about for the Fed of the Year because they're doing great work. Todd went, yeah, but they're kind of MCW's NXT. And I mentioned that what a great place for them to be with people like Jake and JXT and Phil running the shop. I thought this was terrific. Matty Haynes got good fire.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a lot of future there for Matty Hayne. After this was a promo segment between Jab with the Cycle and Erica Reed. Again, this one was a little bit hard to get all of just because of the way it was recorded. But again, even without getting every word, you can see the babyface fire that Erica's got and the pure disdain that this crowd has for Jab. I'm so impressed with Jab as a heel, the way that he presents himself, that he uses the faction around him. I think that, there's really good chemistry between him and Erica as well. The way that Erica just absolutely spat in Jab's face here showed that venom. I was really, really impressed by the character work on display here.
So was I. Erica's got this beautiful baby face fire about her. At some point, I think she's got to kind of go heel. Never seen Erica work heel, and I'm intrigued to do so. And, you can't say enough about Jab. He's a real talent. Within the next 2 years, everyone is going to be talking about him because wherever he ends up, he's gonna just be fine. He's gonna be a great act, and he's gonna be fine. Yes, I'm laughing because the man with the new wrestling nickname of Disappearing Todd Eastman has made his triumphant return.
I've given up on my laptop. I'm on my iPad now, so if I don't sound the same, I apologize. But it's just fucking, I don't know what is going on with this thing.
Tin Can Todd, welcome to the stream. What did you think of this Jab and Erica promo? At least the parts that you were able to hear.
I loved it. I absolutely love. I love the touch of like when he was said like that that he wanted her to join them. It was as her like shoot name.
Yep.
It wasn't like Erica. It was Emma. It was. Like there was that little touch of realism that if you know, but like the other, like Aaron is Sid's real name. Like that's the way they're doing it. I love that little extra touch there. So yeah, I loved every part of this promo. Just another twist in the story of this thing that Jabba's weaving is great.
And again, as the person who overthinks everything about wrestling, I was wondering if there was, and knowing the people involved, I'm sure there was, you got the vision of a white man in white robes coming in and bringing a faction of indigenous presenting people under his wing, putting them in his clothes and taking away their traditional names and giving them straight English names. I think there's definitely something there that feeds into that face heel dynamic, I again could be just me overthinking.
Yeah, I think you might be slightly.
But hey, if I'm getting that out of it, it's there.
Just can we widen these?
It had me like I was like, holy shit.
I was like, holy shit, and then I was like, oh yeah, but this guy thinks Cody's a heel, so
Yeah, but I'm right, so whatever. And then Nicolia says Jab is a ready-made act for either MCW or Renegades. Yeah, absolutely agree with that. Everything he's doing with the character.
I want to see him consistently surrounded by people because I think that makes him more chilling and more of a threat. He's not a Gino or a Lockie who can stand pretty much solo. Sure, with Walker, he's not a solely independent figure, but in that stable, he is phenomenal. So good. So good.
And Matt in the chat says it's really sophisticated stuff that Jab, the Cycle, and Erica have been delivering over the last few months. And then he says Lachlan isn't reaching with his assessment, so I'll take that. And Nicolia says, and to be honest, I wouldn't pick Lachlan's theory being that far off. He's the cultured invader teaming who he sees as savages. And that's when you've got someone named Jahari and you take away that name, couldn't help but think about it. Anyway, moving on to the match that happened after this was Bread and Chips defeating the Cycle with a little help from an appearance by JXT, who was banned from the building but had to show up to distract the Cycle for just a moment. What did you think of this main event, Todd?
It was because of what the show is, and the show is it is a training show. So having these two guys in the main event, there was still like Nicholas is Breadman. Breadman is very much the trainee of this match. So it was good to see him get a taste of what it is like in that main event. It was also good to get the experience of those two working together as a tag team, more experience for those two working together as a team, as in Phil and Breadman. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a bit of fun. It was every time that Phil does the hulking up, it just pops me. I don't know why, it just pops me. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Like I said, it's a training show, so it's not going to be a 45-minute, 30-minute bloody WrestleMania match, but it was good, and that you can't argue with the reactions from the crowd, and they get the reactions just as soon as Erica pops her head out of the curtain, she gets that massive reaction. So I mean,
yep,
yeah, I thought it was really good. It was good for what it had to be, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, Jeff.
I like this a lot. I agree with Todd. Aaron is such a good worker in there, and he's a good ring general in there. So he had the other guys who are a little less experienced than he is, really working hard and really, working with their good boots on. Bread and Chips were fun. That's the first thing. They were just a fun tag team. I like that they won because it means that we're probably going to see more of them as a tag team. And, the Cycle are so good. Their character work is so strong, and they're so easily despised by the Mayhem crowd that it was really, really refreshing to see. I like this a lot.
Well, when you think about it, Mayhem have a low-key, really strong tag team division.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they had that 8-man tag, then they had a tag earlier in the night.
Yeah.
And then they had the tag main event. They got a really a decent. Some would say probably stronger than a lot of bigger feds tag team division.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I also really enjoy seeing the work that Aaron is doing under this Cycle character. Like I've said that I have been a big fan of Sid Parker for a long time, that really hard-hitting style, and seeing him in a different role and able to show off what else he's capable of is really exciting, because I think it shows his versatility and that he can be more of a general in a match rather than just, leaping at someone and pushing his junk in their face, right? So getting that evolution of a character within the same world and having it make sense, I think, is really cool. Overall,
I just want to chip in here. Todd, I mentioned that you kind of went on Mayhem's MCW's NXT. We had that discussion last year. I think they are a little NXT. I think they are a little NXT in that their storylines are good. They've got young kids who are hungry and pretty good at what they do. And some of the old guys that pop up really work hard to get them over. Isn't that great?
Yeah, and they're smart. Like, they're smart to do that. Like, Renegade, Relentless are smart to say, hey, look, we're probably not going to be an MCW or a Renegade. Probably don't want to be, because that seems like a bit of a hassle having to do all of that stuff. And the school. We can run really good school students and have them promoted to those places, and have those places go, hey, look, all these people that you've seen in MCW, here's where they train.
Mm-hmm.
That's a perfect setup for those guys, I think.
I mean, there's a reason those guys showed up in the Battle Royal at MCW last year. There's a reason that a few of them will probably be smattered through the Renegades forthcoming show. We are Renegades, but it's great. It's great to see.
And as Matt mentions, Mayhem have really built a strong home territory in Melton and Bacchus March. And these showcase events have really evolved from just trainee shows. It's an impressive operation. Nick Galea says, and Aaron is one of the best reinventions in wrestling. He took a character that was super over and took a step of taking away what people like about him. When the time comes, if/when he reverts to Sid, the crowd will go nuts. Yeah, a great point there as well. I think overall, this has shown exactly what Mayhem are really good at, which is putting on a good show that gives an opportunity for young talent to be showcased without it overwhelming the whole show, right? We talked about some first appearances there from guys like Matty Hayne and TJ Wilde getting really good opportunities to show out in front of a crowd while also being involved in entertaining matches. And I think Mayhem are doing such an excellent job of riding that line in a way that make people want to come back while continuing to build up the people that they're seeing for the first few times. Pario Magazine says JXT low-key grown into one of the most influential people in Victoria. I think that it's awesome to see this focus on growing the scene. Right?
Not only
like it's all
not only does JXT grow the scene in ring, but he will do. I had a chat with him on here. Todd and I interviewed him, and I said, you came and did my show when you had a fucked up leg, and you still came and did it, and you still took a shot from Rove that made me wince. Why? Thank you. Why did you do it? And he goes, because I genuinely want to leave the place better than when I came here. You should say yes to every opportunity, and you should, and just waxing lyrical about all the different things he's doing, which is wonderful, because what a great influence to have on the next generation.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. If you want to check out this show, and if you've got any interest in the future of what Victorian wrestling holds, I encourage you to. You can head on over to youtube.com/Mayhem Pro. That's the channel. You'll get to see everything that they've put up for free on YouTube. Again, this was a 2-hour show that had 10 segments in it, right? So it is absolutely packed with stuff. There's only 2 promos there in a 2-hour show. So 8 matches. Absolutely fantastic. Andy, in context of JXT, says he genuinely does it without vested interest. Poor dude can't get into the US to wrestle now, so he's going to do it. So he is only doing it to make the scene better, a proper legend. And Nick Galea says Mayhem fly a bit below the radar, but the Bacchus shows generally get pretty solid crowds, and the King of Colac show will be a packed sellout. Absolutely. If you're in Victoria and you're interested in checking out Mayhem Pro, the Mayhem Pro Showcase is going to be in Melton next Friday. That's the 31st of January at the Relentless Gym. And there's a couple of big shows on the horizon as well. In March, first of all, is Mayhem Mania in Bacchus March. That's on the 8th of March. Getting my mixed up. There we go. So that's Mayhem Mania 2.
Like, can we also just it's great that we're putting over JXT, but also you've got Jake and you've got like Phil that are doing a hell of a lot of work in that school. So as much as it's great, and as much as like JXT does deserve like his flowers. So does Phil and Jake.
Todd, I kind of mentioned them about 20 minutes ago and said exactly that.
Yeah, I know that, but like all the comments and things were just coming in and like JC, Loki, blah blah blah. But like it is genuinely a team effort between the three of them.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And that Clash of Colac show that got mentioned in the chat there is going to be on the 10th of May, and that's at the Colac RSL and is all ages. So, get along to whatever shows you're able to get along to. And Beetle Bailey says it. The trainers, of course, do need their praise. And Matt says Erica and Aaron are also real key cogs in the school too. Yeah, there's a lot going on there to really push what the future of Victorian wrestling is going to look like. And that's amazing. But that's not the only place that wrestling is happening around Australia. Let's talk about another show that's coming up in Victoria, which is Renegades of Wrestling. We Are Renegades 2025. That's going to be at Northcote Theatre on Sunday, the 9th of March. Doors at 6, bells at 7. It's a family-friendly event. The Renegades of Wrestling World Championship is going to be on the line in a triple threat match with Levi Nixon defending against both Emin Osman and Mitch Waterman, as well as the Renegades Rumble with more matches and competitors to be announced. Let's talk about what Australian wrestling is coming up this weekend, with a special thanks to Michael Lee at the Australian Wrestling Community Facebook page.
Before you do that, mate, because
I was going to leave that till after, or do you want to hit it?
Well, yeah, because I sort of want to talk about good stuff after it.
Yeah,
go for it.
That's fair.
If you know what I mean, I don't want to sort of end on a shit note.
Yep.
Which is what this will end up doing. So because we kind of have to talk about it, even though I don't really want to talk about it, it's kind of something that's happened. So we have to. Like this week, news broke that one of the owners of PCW in Melbourne has been arrested and charged with sexual offences. That's all that was reported. So that shit. What I can tell you and what I do know is that he has stepped away from PCW at the moment. So he is not a part of the company at this moment. And this was relayed to all of the roster. So as far as I know, he, again, innocent until proven guilty. He wants his day in court and says as much in the message that I have seen was sent to all of the trainees, the workers at PCW. So I'm just going off that. I'm not. This is really hard because again, it's the same as the case we had ages ago with Bonza, where it is a legal case. It is a law. There are laws involved here. There is like the justice system involved. So it's not really our place to say this guy is guilty or this guy is innocent. Much like the case we talked about before, this man will get his day in court, and we will find out what happens from there. I think he's done the smart thing of stepping away from the company and not just saying, no, I'm sticking around, blah, 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 blah. I wouldn't expect to see a hell of a lot of comments about it from PCW or from anything like that, mainly because they've probably been told not to by the lawyers. So, yeah, it is a shit situation, but I don't think it's a situation that we should punish the whole of PCW for.
That's what I was going to say, is that there are a lot of people involved in any wrestling company, and it's important to remember that a lot of those people are not going to be involved in whatever's going on here, right? There are workers who are there to wrestle who would have no knowledge of this situation until news broke, right?
From what I'm gathering, nobody at PCW really knew, at least underneath maybe like top management, because from what I can gather, that there's probably been some sort of a suppression order up until this latest hearing. So nobody knew anything, and from what I heard, there were the trainees and that were just stunned because they just hadn't heard anything about this. So this is all really new to those guys as well. And Andy from Bob Backlund Fridges. Oh, he's changed companies. I said, you still can't be running shows without addressing it, given the seriousness as the allegations were beyond that point. You can say that, Andy, but you're also not paying a lawyer $500 an hour to give you advice. Simple as that.
Yeah. Nick D'Elia says that he was at the PCW show on January 4th before the story broke on media, but obviously the situation was in place. That person's usually a visual presence, and he was not at the show. And Andy from Bob Vance, his opinion is that's literally all they need to say. We understand the accusations are serious, and the person involved is no longer involved with PCW in any capacity. You can't just ignore it and hope it goes away.
It's not like that, Andy. There are 8-year-old children that go to those shows, and I would not want them to be exposed with anything like this. They don't even know the person in question, and so it's a redundant thing to say publicly.
And Matt in the chat says, more than ever, the fans need to support the workers and make sure they don't lose any opportunities to work.
Yeah, that's a key thing I kind of wanted to say. Like, let's not throw out the baby with the bathwater. I know it's a terrible phrase maybe with this situation, but it's like PCW are a great company with great workers and a great system. There is one bad apple in that company, allegedly, because we have to be very careful to say allegedly. And that's just
hey, Lachlan.
Jeff.
What else is happening this weekend?
Yes.
Yeah, let's talk about some positive stuff. Let's talk about, if you're in Victoria, the wrestling that you can see this weekend. Tomorrow night, Friday the 17th of January, as we're live, is Wrestle Rock. We love Wrestle Rock. Get along to Wrestle Rock for some pure fun wrestling. Meanwhile, in Western Australia, New Horizons Pro Wrestling has Reload on Saturday, January 18th. If you're in South Australia, Adelaide Championship Wrestling's New Year's Evolution is also on Saturday, the 18th. In New South Wales, you're spoiled for choice because International Wrestling Australia has the St. John's Stockade on Saturday, the 18th. All-Star Wrestling Australia has the Bigger Bash 2 on January the 18th, and Wrestle Strong Dojo has the Bathurst RSL show on Saturday, January 18th. Meanwhile, up here in Queensland, Venom Pro Wrestling's Elimination Lockdown 8 is on Saturday, January 18th, featuring an NXT superstar, I believe, and United Pro Wrestling, UPW, is doing their Sunshine Coast show on Saturday, January 18th. Is there anyone interesting on that?
That's featuring a WRA superstar.
That's featuring Mr. Todd Eastman managing Mitch Ryder, is it not? Up against Jesse Love. That's going to be a ripper.
Yeah, we got to knock some cobwebs off before the big show.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Not that this won't be a big show, but.
Speaking of the big show, tickets for the Pro Wrestling League and Renegades of Wrestling Australian Wrestling Super Show for February 14th, the night before AEW Grand Slam, are on sale now through OzTix, but only standing tickets because the seats are sold out. It is literally standing room only. If you want to come along, and if you're in Queensland that weekend, you want to come along because they've just announced matches like a triple threat match with Zeke Andino, Mitch Ryder, and Robbie Eagles tearing it up. Not only that, you get some big meaty men slap and meet in the form of Rip Riley versus Caveman Ugg. Like, this is shaping up to be an absolutely incredible card, as well as the is it All Stars versus Champions teams are forming, I believe?
Yeah, they are.
So make sure you get eyes on that. Standing room only. Get your tickets through OzTix. And
I personally am looking forward to the debut of a man going up against Stokely Hathaway, Los Todos Eastmanos. Just looking forward to that.
Don't go promising things that haven't been booked there, Jeff.
No.
Pario Magazine says bangers top to bottom. Absolutely.
Yes, it is, Pario.
And speaking of...
Christina Cade hurt my pancreas, so I'm out of action wrestling.
Oh, no. Oh,
Stunned
Todd.
it out of me. Stunned
Not
it out
your
of me.
pancreas.
Me pancreas. Would you
Lachlan's
believe
a
it?
bruised pancreas.
Me bruised pancreas.
Not your pancreas, Todd.
Oh, no. Look, World Series Wrestling reminder for Adelaide. Adelaide has moved venues due to a scheduling clash with the AFL. I mean, if you want to have a scheduling clash with someone, that's, a nice big show to have it with. The show will now be held at the Adelaide Showgrounds in the Ridley Entertainment and Convention Centre. All tickets are still valid. Seating remains the same. There's been extra seating added. So if you haven't already, now is the time to get tickets. It's the only show, that Adelaide one, now that they've moved, where the tickets aren't right on the edge of selling out. So that's Friday, the 28th of March at the Melbourne Pavilion in Melbourne. It's Saturday, the 29th of March at the Eaton's Hill Hotel in Brisbane. Sunday, the 30th of March in Adelaide on the Adelaide Oval, formerly on the Adelaide Oval, now on the Ridley Entertainment Centre in the Adelaide Showgrounds. And in Sydney, it's on Monday, the 31st of March at Penrith Panthers. So make sure you get along to that. Absolutely stacked card. Absolutely brilliant commentator in Brisbane. Sorry, Todd.
I just want to throw out too, Wrestle Rock have got the matches, a couple of the matches they've announced look really good.
Oh yeah.
Like Juicy and please remind me his name.
Hang on a second, let me bring
Wrestle
it
Rock
up.
champion.
Bones, Bone Collector, Jake Taylor.
Jake Taylor. Thank you very much. It was doing my head in. I'm like, and also the Renegades of Wrestling title will be defended there as well with Crackers.
Yeah, it's going to be a great show. It's going to be a fantastic show.
Look,
Wrestle Rock is looking so good this weekend.
Look, Aussie wrestling is just an absolutely exciting thing to be involved in. So make sure you're getting to some of those upcoming shows. And the other thing about Aussie wrestling is it bleeds into international wrestling. So we got lots to talk about from the international wrestling world, including WWE and AEW, right after this.
Do you want to be a pro wrestler? Then sign up now to the Relentless School of Pro Wrestling.
Located 50 minutes west of Melbourne with a full gym, strength and conditioning coaches, a nutritionist, and world-traveled professional wrestling coaches to help you achieve your goals in the professional wrestling business. Whether you want to be a wrestler, a manager, referee, or just involved in the industry, with no tryout required, the Relentless School of Pro Wrestling is here to help you achieve your goals.
All you have to do to start your journey is sign up now to be relentless.
Kick off your AEW Grand Slam weekend the right way with an unforgettable night of wrestling action at the iconic Eaton's Hill Hotel in Brisbane on Friday, February the 14th, as Pro Wrestling League and Renegades of Wrestling present the Australian Wrestling Super Show. With an open door policy, expect the unexpected. You never know who might appear to shake things up. Whether you're a long-time fan or new to the Australian wrestling scene, this is the perfect way to start your weekend off with a bang. Get your tickets now from oztix.com.au and don't miss this incredible night of Australian wrestling action.
Don't panic. It was gonna be a quick back. Don't worry. We can wait till Jeff comes back. We can wait till Jeff comes back. It's okay.
I had it timed perfectly.
Yeah, I know, but because I had a lot of issues, as you could probably tell by the start of this show.
Because I'm aware.
Yeah, I have not had time to properly do the ad breaks that we normally do. So I just wanted, just those quick, just quickly too. Relentless this week had Trent Seven in doing a seminar.
Very cool.
And
please don't
JXT, excuse me. JXT explained that he was actually part of the inspiration behind doing Relentless anyway.
Yeah, I saw that. I did, yeah. It's interesting. Because it's what they did in Britain.
Yeah.
They just started their own thing.
And Trent's a very nice guy.
Welcome back to Making Chicken Salad, the Wrestle Radio Australia show where you talk about everything going on around the world of wrestling.
Well, I'm going to have to edit it now.
Oh, are you?
Uh-huh.
Probably.
Well, start again, Lachlan. I apologise.
Now he's laughing. Welcome back to Making Chicken Salad, the Wrestle Radio Australia show where we talk about everything going on around the world of wrestling. It is time to talk about what's happening over in the US while these idiots clap. In a potentially in-character tweet posted late Monday night, Corey Graves voiced his displeasure with being moved off the WWE's main roster commentary. Quote, imagine chasing your dream, then being told, not deciding, that you're no longer physically able to pursue your dream. Then you dedicate your life to something dream adjacent and being pretty fucking awesome at it. And then, when it's time to enjoy the fruits of your labor, you're told you aren't famous enough to do your job. The tweet has since been deleted. But what do we think about the absence of Corey Graves and how this tweet fits in, Jeff?
I think this is actually a work. I think this is all part of what Triple H is doing really well. And that is giving heels reasons to be heels.
Well, I did see also I did see as part of the article that I read is that he has been cleared for action for like a year.
Yeah.
So could this be something to end up with him and Barrett?
Yeah, possibly he and Barrett, or possibly he comes back as a worker. I mean, he was reasonably good from memory.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was really like. For those of you that watched the original days of NXT, he was a tag champion.
He was a tag champion. Yeah.
Neville, I think, wasn't it?
Sorry,
Neville? Was it with Neville?
Yeah, I think he was. I'm sorry, guys. I'll be back.
That's all right.
All good.
But that was even. That was back with like if you watch the old original NXT, like Vader's son was really good too, and just sort of fell off.
Yeah, disappeared. It is worth noting that like Corey said that he was cleared in 2022 in a Chris Van Vliet interview. So that's a long time where he would have been able to wrestle. But I know that he said that he really enjoyed doing commentary, but I have to imagine that if he wants to get back in the ring, this is a great opportunity to do it with reason behind him coming back into the ring.
Hey, like I know I said Barrett, but him and McAfee at WrestleMania could be an easy story to tell. Like you took my job, dude. You just come back. I know you Mr. ESPN and all, but like you took my job.
Yeah, and it wouldn't need to be like an incredible match if they were both, coming back to the ring, because Pat McAfee's very famous and Corey Graves has not wrestled in a long time. Like,
because he's not wrestled doesn't mean he's not working. Like it
doesn't mean he's not training. Yeah,
100%. Doesn't mean he's not training. I think this is absolutely great. I think this, along with Owens,
I hope it's a work. Let's put it that way. I hope it's a work.
If it's not a work, it's kind of fucked.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I hope it's a work, because even if you move to NXT, you fuck Booker T off.
I was gonna say,
yeah, you don't do
like to keep Booker on commentary.
Booker T cannot carry Corey Graves' jock when it comes to commentary.
Yeah,
he is damn near unlistenable on that show.
But Booker T couldn't carry out Donovan's jock, so you get what you get. No, I mean,
baby, fucking.
How much is this guy? He's better than that, but it's still,
Matt in chat mentioning we know that Vince wasn't wanting to let Danielson wrestle even when cleared. Maybe now the new administration are more happy for Corey to get back in the ring, whereas Vince wasn't. Also possible.
And
something
you just
worth
like
keeping in
saying
mind.
Matt from chat, don't you?
I do like saying Matt from chat.
More comments.
That Matt from chat.
Yeah, that's right. Speaking of what's going on over on Netflix, Penta made his WWE debut on Raw. Look, we all know that I have been a massive mark for Penta since before AEW existed, right? Like I've got a signed Penta mask from about 2016. So this is something that I've always been a huge fan of Penta, and watching him wrestle Gable was such a great pick for opponent here.
And you watched him a lot on Lukey Overground, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. Lukey Overground. Yeah. He was great on Lukey Overground. Lucha Underground actually getting a mention on commentary.
Yes.
With, Michael Cole pointing out he's a 2-time Lucha Underground champion.
And I also love how everyone got so mad because they mentioned AAA, CMLL, Lucha Underground. Nowhere else.
But they really focused on his singles achievements, and he never held a singles title in AEW.
That's true. That is true.
Well, because right now, despite his outfit, he is a singles wrestler.
That's Pario Magazine saying what we're all thinking. Penta versus Chelsea rematch when? That's Penta showing up, and you've got Kyrie and EO and Chelsea all backstage, so they'll be watching their backs, I'm sure. But I think he's so merchandisable. Right, is another thing about him.
That's the one thing that WWE have already done better than what AEW did. Like before he even debuted, there was a line of merch out for him. There was a masks route for him. They were like they've had him for 4 years? They had him since the inception of AEW, and did not sell those masks.
No,
did not. But yet there's a hologram mask for sale on AEW shop.
I also want to shout out Cole. And in one specific moment, because Penta's music starts, it's obviously him. Like the logo comes on screen, and then his logo and his name. And Cole didn't go, "Is it really him? Is he here? Oh my God!" Yeah. No, he went, "This must be the worst kept secret in wrestling. Here's Penta." Yeah, brilliant, so much better.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's better when you're just honest about it. Look, everyone knows this fucking dude's coming. We've been doing the vignettes for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Here he is.
And we've got our next big WWE event on the horizon. Coming in about a week before the Rumble is Saturday night's main event from San Antonio, Texas. Current lineup includes the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther defending against Jey Uso and Intercontinental Champion Bron Breakker defending against Sheamus. Now, this is coming next weekend, so we're ramping up here. Next weekend, we've got this, and then the weekend after is the Rumble. Do we see any big title changes happening this close to a Big Four pay-per-view? Todd, what do you think?
I don't think so. I can't see them taking off Breaker. I can't see them taking off Gunther just yet. Anyway.
Jeff?
Yeah, I've got to agree with Todd. I think Gunther is locked in as champ till WrestleMania.
Yep.
And I think Bron, if he loses it, it's to give Sheamus the final title he needs to have the complete collection. And also means that Bron and Sheamus can fight each other out of the ring at the Rumble and then face at WrestleMania. That's the only kind of reasoning I like. And then Sheamus passes the torch in many ways to the next guy who is going to be the fucking future until Obafemi comes up. And that's Bron Breakker.
I tell you one thing that was interesting, though, and I know Eric Tate mentioned it here in the chat, is that Raw wasn't 3 hours this week. It was only 2.5. So it looks like, and it sounds like at the moment, SmackDown's going to be like 3 hours or 2 hours, whatever the network needs. But once that is off and on Netflix, and they don't have that network restriction of this is the time gap you have to fill, it sounds like they're just going to go, okay, we just want to do a 2.5 hour show tonight.
Yeah.
They just want to do, we've got a big show tonight, let's push it to the 3 hours. Because I heard something about the fact that they wanted it to go 2.5 hours because a lot of the wrestlers had to hit flights later that night. And it wouldn't have given them time for the 3 hours to get to their flights. That's why it only went 2.5 this week.
It's also because they're now streaming, they can be 20 minutes, they could be 3.5 hours, they could be an hour and a half. They could be there's no time restrictions or rules on anything now, so they could go for
the only rules they really have is if Netflix say we have to have X amount of hours a week. from you guys, content-wise.
The story that came out was that Triple H said that now that they were on Netflix, it would be the length that the show needs. If that's 40 minutes, fine. If that's 4 hours, fine. They can do what they need to do.
Could you imagine if they did a 40-minute Raw?
I don't think we're ever going to see a Raw less than 2 hours.
No, neither do I.
Dave Meltzer would have a meltdown.
Oh, but you can imagine if there was a Raw that only had 40 minutes worth of stuff, Sami Zayn and Chad Gable would be knocking down doors with ideas because there's clearly time.
Yeah.
Right? There's enough people on the roster who are going to go, oh, there's a chance for me to get on.
Yeah. The thing about a 40-minute Raw is it will only happen if planes are delayed or a natural disaster happens, and it's just literally, oh look, let's grab Tozawa and I don't know, Gable. You guys are fighting for 15 minutes. Let's grab whoever's around.
Well, you have a look this week for, I don't know if it was for Collision or for Dynamite this week, because of the fires in LA. A lot of guys couldn't make the show because they were either defending their houses or they just couldn't physically get out for it. Which, by the way, because I know we do have, and it sounds weird, we actually have a couple of listeners in LA. I hope you're safe if you're hearing this. I hope everything's fine.
Thoughts going out.
What's going on? Believe me, as people that live up here in Queensland, we know all about bushfires. So we know what you're going through.
not to be horrible, but all of Australia does. Like really, we're a tinderbox, but you guys more so than everywhere else, and also up in LA. You're in our thoughts, and we hope.
And largely, that's a reason that there's a lot of fires in the US that spread the way they do is because they imported a lot of eucalyptus, and we've seen in Australia just how bad that stuff burns.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the LA ones were worse because it was the winds that really helped, hurt or helped, depending on which way you want to look at it. The way it spread so quickly.
And Paria Magazine says, Collision was super thin this past week. So thoughts to everyone going through that. But speaking of Collision, let's talk about some things that are happening over on AEW. First of all, Taz is back, which I love. I love Taz on commentary. He's just a big goofball. If they could just get rid of Tony, that'd be great. Mm-hmm. Look, when I was a kid, Taz was the color commentator on SmackDown, and so I remember that very fondly. Samoa Joe makes his return. Big fans of Smo Joe.
Joseph.
I'm very happy for that. It was a nice little... I haven't actually seen the episode yet, but I've seen the spot that he did for the return. It was a nice little... had all of his biggest hits, put it that way, in the spot. So I'm actually really interested in watching this week's Dynamite, because from the clips I've seen and from some of the videos people have taken, the smaller arena looks really, really good. I love the fact that they've decided to go this route, because it just makes for it might not make for a grand presentation, but it makes for a better show, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of people who are moving in and out in AEW, Malachi Black appears to be gone from the company, which, look, there's been rumors about the nature of Malachi's presence in AEW for a while. I think one of the things that has been massively stoking this was a segment that happened over the past week where there was a match between Will Ospreay and Buddy Matthews, right? And it was an incredible match. It was really good. I mean, obviously, look at the two guys in it. But after the match, Ospreay spoke to Buddy and said that both Buddy and, help me out here, guys, the other House of Black, the big guy,
Brody King,
thank you, that they both have a place with Will Ospreay and they don't need Malachi Black. They don't need the house. So that's very interesting, especially considering in our interview with Buddy Murphy not that long ago, he mentioned that he saw himself sticking around with the House of Black for the foreseeable future. So very interesting to hear there. But another interesting thing that Brooksy mentioned was that he remembered wrestling with
Osprey?
Buddy's best mate, Brooksy.
Yeah,
So Brooksy mentioned wrestling with Brooksy.
Sorry. Osprey mentioned wrestling Brooksy. So, you know, good stuff to see there. It's nice to hear some great Aussie talent being mentioned on AEW by one of the best in the world.
Yeah, and after what happened this week on Dynamite, because I've like heard the results, because I didn't have time to watch it, so I listened to the review from Post Wrestling on the way home, and I know that there's a tendency to go really quick fire and have all these matches really close together, but please, Tony, please give us Osprey and Omega on Osprey and Omega versus Takeshita and Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
Give us that at Grand Slam, please.
Yep. There's your Grand Slam. Big match. Boom. That's got to be what they're building, right? It looks to be
I
the
hope
case.
so.
And Pario Magazine mentioning Brody King also getting a similar speech from Cope on Collision. He said Copeland, but that's not correct. I believe his name is, in fact, Cope. Let's talk about the fact that Phoenix's merch is gone from the AEW shop. This is off the back of Penta joining WWE, but also off the back of stories about, Phoenix wanting out, claiming that, medical coverage wasn't provided as it should have been, that they were keeping the contract on him for longer due to injury, even though the time of the contract had been fulfilled. They were extending it due to injury time that wasn't covered on the contract, blah, blah, blah. This is a similar thing that we saw WWE do in the past. There's been some notably fake stories coming out about Phoenix trying to get let go. I think that, people are definitely trying to stir stuff with this, especially now that Penta is in WWE. I think as much as it seems like WWE will obviously want Phoenix, Penta feels like more of a WWE fit than Phoenix does to me, right? Phoenix is...
I got a real feeling that Phoenix would end up like Dragon Lee.
Very much. I think that the skill that Phoenix has is doing really wild stuff, and it's the kind of stuff that WWE doesn't typically like having injury risks on, right? If you look at what Ricochet was doing in WWE, he very much toned down what he was doing, and I have to imagine it would be the same for Phoenix, whereas Penta can kind of do most of his arsenal pretty cleanly within the WWE style. It's just how hard it hits. So, that's the stuff going on there. Yeah, Keanu Reviews is right. The story that came out, people were claiming that Phoenix had gone to Jack Perry's house to beat him up in an attempt to get fired from AEW, which I saw someone say, yeah, but everyone beats up Jack Perry. It's just a $10 fine now.
Phoenix has got to be trying to get on the house shows to just try and choke Tony in. He's got to be trying to do it. Like, even though he's like, if this story is real, like, because I know that they've taken the stuff down, but for all we know, this could be like a web maintenance thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, we don't know, to be honest with you. But it is pretty fucking. If it is, then it's pretty average that they're doing it, because that like hurts all of his opportunities to sort of make money.
Yeah.
Not only that, but like if the rumors are consistent that he's trying to get out and head to WWE alongside his brother, which would be completely understandable. Tony, even Vince jobbed guys out on the way out.
Yeah.
You've just not used him at all, and that's
you put him in there like lose to this guy, lose to this guy, lose to this guy. If you do this for the next 3 months, we'll let you go.
Yeah. That was what Vince did, but at least he put people on TV and gave them a payday.
Yep.
I mean, they lost to Steve Lombardi, for fuck's sake, but they got paid.
Very few people did that, mate. Let's face it. Let's be honest here.
Lombardi's amazing, but yeah, he's amazing.
This has become a Vince Lombardi fan podcast. Let's move on.
Steve Lombardi, you dickhead.
Steve Lombardi, sorry.
Vince Lombardi is it's a gridiron. That's a gridiron dude, mate. That's the name of the Super Bowl trophy. It's also a pull that I wouldn't expect from you, just quietly.
That's sporting Lachlan Albert for you.
Yeah, I had no idea that was in there. You right, Lock?
Lock, you okay, mate? Oh, I think he's got the stuttering GBs as well now.
We've stunned him into silence.
Yeah.
Yep, he's gone. He's gone.
There's a bit more to talk about in terms of AEW, of course. Announced for Grand Slam this week, it will be Toni Storm against Mariah May for the women's title. What do we think about this, guys? Toni against Mariah in Queensland. You're both going to be there.
I still think my prophecy is going to come true. I just have this.
That she's
real
going
feeling.
to accept the award as timeless.
I think she's going to win the title. I think for the next couple of weeks leading up to, like, Mariah's going to try and get under her skin and try and bring out like timeless Toni Storm, and Toni's not going to have a bar of it. Toni's just going to be, oh, it's going to be great to wrestle you. You're a really good wrestler. I've heard so much, but she's going to be like rookie Toni for the whole run until she wins that title, and then Luther will come out and like give it to the like present the title to her, and she'll revert back to Toni, like timeless Toni Storm, giving the acceptance speech as an Oscar.
I think it is timeless Toni Storm playing Toni Storm, but I think the Toni Storm character she is at the moment is being enjoyed so much that they're probably going to keep it going for a little while longer. I'm not disagreeing with your assessment. I'm disagreeing with your timing. I think she's gonna keep being current.
I mean, we still have a month.
Yeah,
we still have a month to go. So by the end of the month, we could be like, yeah, maybe time for the timeless thing to come back, because let's face it, like,
I think that's the end game. I do think that's the end game. Is a reversion.
But the end game has to be like beating Mariah for the title and then coming back as timeless. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's possible, but I think that it's also possible that she stays Toni until she loses the title, and that sends her into a psychosis and she becomes timeless again.
I mean, do we agree though that she's going to win that title at Grand Slam?
One would think so.
Got it right.
One would think
because I hate to say it, but I like Mariah's reign has been less than stellar. I think
a little bit underwhelming, yeah.
Yeah, look, that is what it is. And sometimes things aren't going to go great. And that's what our show's kind of named for, right? Some things are going to be chicken salad. Some things are going to be chicken shit. So let's talk about the chicken shit first. Jeff, what did you not enjoy this week?
Okay. I haven't enjoyed some of the fans' reactions to some of the decisions for Grand Slam. I think people are complaining that the last few tickets are going at 20% off. People are complaining that, the matches haven't all been announced yet. And people are complaining about a few other things. Just like see where it winds up.
But matches that haven't been announced yet, like, how long have you been watching AEW?
Yeah.
Like, some of those matches, like some of those shows, the matches don't get announced the week of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not new, guys. This is not new.
No. There's also complaints that it's a HBO Max special. And so it's going to be difficult for Australians to watch.
It's going to be on at the same time. It's going to be on tape delay for Americans. So it's going to be on at the same time that Collision. It's going to be like basically a Collision special.
Yeah.
So, and I hate to break it to you guys, but every Grand Slam has been like that. It's either been a Grand Slam Dynamite or it's been a Grand Slam Collision. This is nothing new. Like, I don't know how many times I've got to keep saying this to people. This is nothing new.
Yeah.
It's not a pay-per-view. It was never meant to be a pay-per-view.
And my other chicken shit, I doubt it's a shoot. I think it's a work. But if it's a shoot, Corey Graves, you've got the job that most kids in the world dream of being. I know this guy on that side of me certainly dreams of being Corey Graves. Actually, both guys dream of being Corey Graves. So just in case,
Bobby Heenan.
If it is a shoot, you're a bit of a dick. If it's not, brilliant. And I don't think it is. So you're good.
Oh yeah, no. If it's a shoot, I don't think he is being a bit of a dick. I think that is how you would genuinely feel if you've been like doing play-by-play on the flagship show for the past how many years, and then you get moved to SmackDown and out of a role that you're not used to, like because he was doing color, and then got moved to SmackDown and told, okay, now you're gonna have to be play-by-play guy. Learn that, brother, and did it with flying colors to the point where like those two were a really good team together.
Yes, they were.
And then now, because of like Pat McAfee coming back, you can't really kick Joe Tessitore out because he's been doing a great job on Raw as well. Like really, really good job. Moving down to NXT, that is a big demotion. Like if you got to sit next to fucking Booker T for 2 hours every week, I'd be pretty upset too.
But, and I agree with you. I think it's a work. I think it's all part of a thing. But I do think that, commentators in that organization, look at what they did to JR, constantly moving him around.
Yeah, Matt said that as well. He got moved on he got moved live on air in a draft in a shoot and didn't know it was coming.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, I can't stand Booker T either, but that's why I think it's work. But if not, mate, you've got the dream job. Come on. But I think
we'll find out. Yeah.
We'll find out. Todd, chicken shit.
Look, I've got to say, it's a thing that most people like, and I didn't think anything could turn like some AEW fans on Tony. But that 12-man tag that got announced this week, that must have been the straw that broke the camel's back. I haven't seen that many like actual really loyal AEW fans turn on like a decision or a booked match more than that one.
Illuminate our fans, please, because some might not know what the 12-man tag is made up of.
Can you look it up quickly, Lachlan, because I'm running off my iPad at the moment. It's on Collision this week.
It's the Maximum Carnage Collision.
Yeah. It's the Learning Tree and the what are their names? The Death Riders as a team against like a group of baby faces.
It's Moxley, Yuta, Claudio, Jericho, Brian Keith, and Big Bill versus Cope, FTR, Powerhouse Hobbs, and the Outrunners.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Now on the surface, the babyface tag team, that's fine. But in what world would John Moxley and the Death Riders want to team up with that team? Because they don't want to be with any team. They just want to hurt everybody. So unless he comes out in Collision and actually just attacks everybody, then it's just going to be interesting.
Keanu's on fire tonight. He's just said, Jericho is pinning Hobbs. Of course he is. I also just want to mention that conglomeration is such a bad name for a stable. It's so... Oh, look out. Here comes the conglomeration.
Yeah, but it fits the guys that are in the team. Let's face it.
Kind of.
Yep. Chicken shits from the chat. Wild Angel 2 says chicken shit Sami Zayn being stuck in a way that he won't have a match with Penta until the interest is gone. And Andy says chicken shit is the Wyatt 6 moving to SmackDown. I thought there were some really interesting original themes that they were starting to explore, but this is an admission that there is no plan. Pario also mentions about Jericho pinning Hobbs, especially with Mox and Jericho's blood rivalry over the AEW title. I'll get my chicken shit in real quick. Announced for Raw next week is an appearance from JBL. I don't want that. The man's a bully. Get him off my television.
Agreed.
Well, I think JBL will be on commentary this week because I hear that Pat McAfee has to do the college football final.
Oh.
So it'll probably be those
really
two.
Gonna have to hear him say Maggle again.
Here's what I hope.
But to be fair, the work he's been doing lately on indie shows coming out of nowhere, been pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Here's what I hope happens. And he comes out and he does the smiling thing out of the limo, and then Corey Graves hits him over the head with a lead pipe, and then he does commentary for the night.
Yeah, that'd be good. I mean,
that's what I want to happen.
All right, we've heard that, and here we go. An unpopular opinion from Matt in chat: chicken salad would be the Wyatt Six going away for good. That is an unpopular opinion, I think, Matt. There's some interesting stuff that they've got potentially coming this way, but, we'll see. It's time for our chicken salad. Jeff, what did you really enjoy in wrestling?
There are a couple of things I really enjoyed. Firstly, we didn't mention it, but we have our inaugural Intercontinental Women's Champion in Lyra Valkyria. She had a fantastic match against Dakota Kai. Dakota since she's come back from injury, she's throwing everything she can, being the best wrestler she can. I hope she stays injury-free, but it's great to see. It really is. It's showing how well she can fit in Damage Control, and she's so good as a babyface. She was a heel for that long, you kind of forget how good Dakota is as a babyface. I almost called her old work name.
Well, the funny thing is, like, during that match, I think Cole mentioned Team Kick as well. I must admit, I was gutted that she didn't win. But when you look at it, they've been pushing Lyra for the longest time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she made the King of the Ring final or the Queen of the Ring finals. She's been this and that. This was probably the best thing that they could have given her.
Oh, yes. Yes. But I think that and I have two more pieces of chicken salad. I think that it's almost saying, look, Evie, if you can stay injury-free for a year, we're going to give you the title, because she's still kind of prone to injury. So you want to see how she plays for a while.
The funniest thing is, I remember this would be a couple of years now. On this show, we were talking about Daniel Bryan coming back. And I remember I said, look, if I was WWE, I would not put a title on him for the first year he's back.
And they didn't.
Until he proved that, like, he can go a extended period of time without getting a concussion and having to sit out for 6 months. Because it's hard. It's hard to put creative behind someone that you don't know will be around in 3 months, because they might pick up this injury that they're very prone to do.
Yeah. Yeah. My other two pieces of chicken salad. One is Penta versus Gable. Beautiful. Just so beautiful. Actually, all of Raw. Sheamus against Kaiser. Fantastic. I'll do one more, Todd, and then I'll shut up so I don't take yours.
If I tell you, if it is though, I'm going to fucking hit you.
My third
mine's very obscure.
No, I think we're fine. Chelsea Green was being interviewed, and she said that the women before us have made the table so we can eat really rich food on it, and a lot of that is because Triple H doesn't see men as being different from women. We are all wrestlers, and we all go out there and put on the best shows we can. And I think that that's amazing, and I think that that's great. I think it's great that she acknowledges it, and good on Triple H for going ahead and actually just going, hey, these are wrestlers. Who cares?
I must admit, I like that Piper is like her security guard now, like with full security guard outfit.
Full security guard outfit. It is fantastic. I am so very, very happy that Chelsea and Piper are becoming a brilliant, and they're going to be so popular. They're getting so popular because they're hilarious.
Yeah, we've got a couple of chicken salads in the chat. Pario Magazine says his chicken salad is Mitch and Zeke getting a huge opportunity in February to show out. Standing room only tickets, February 14th.
I'm going to ruin the shit out of that match. I'm just going to ruin it.
Wild Angels Chicken Salad is Jeff is right. The women's IC title match was great, and I hope the hits keep on coming with that title. Andy forgot to mention some actual chicken shit. Melbourne's favorite mud show has released a beer in conjunction with a local tap house. It'll shock you to hear that it sucks. Chicken Salad Todd.
It's very obscure because it's something that really I don't even watch. But I saw a clip and I was like, wow. So I went and watched it. I don't know how many of you guys have ever watched the WWE Speed.
Yep.
This week, there was a match. Chad Gable against Charlie Dempsey.
Oh.
Wowie. Go and check it out. That's all I can say is go and check it out on X. It is, wow. Like, I think I watched a 20-second clip of it and I sent it to Bobby. I went, dude, check this shit out. It is, you'll watch it and you'll be like, wow. And it's speed. It's like 5-minute matches.
Yeah.
Like you got time. That's the cool thing about like Speed. You can watch a whole season of Speed in like a half an hour.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt from chat with a chicken salad. The Pareya getting so much love on the socials from their WWE and AEW friends now that they're over in the States. Always good to see the Pareya getting some love. I've got a couple of chicken salads this week. One is obviously Penta, right? Again, massive Penta mark over here, have been for a decade plus. Love seeing him get to work in front of a huge audience. He's got everything to be perfect for WWE. He's got a look, he's got a catchphrase, he's got the in-ring ability. He's sold the hell out of the leg in this past match on Raw. So if your complaint is that Lucha guys don't sell, you don't have to worry about that apparently. But then my other chicken salad is a match that's been announced for this weekend for GCW in a blood sport match. It's Josh Barnett versus Tom Pestock, who you may know better as Baron Corbin. And I think that's going to be an absolute belter. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I'm a blood sport mark. So anything blood sport is great. That is going to be an interesting show considering how hamstrung it is. I remember Matt Cardona was saying that he has had 6 different opponents for that match so far.
Crazy.
In planning. And like everyone's shaking their head like that. I'm like, that's like a normal month for me booking.
Yeah. I've seen the match cards get put together. And look, if there's so much changing so quickly, if you want to keep up with it, you've got to follow Wrestle Radio Australia. You can do it on Facebook at Wrestle Radio Australia, on Instagram at Wrestle Radio AU, same on Twitter/X. If you want merch, go on over to Redbubble, search for Wrestle Radio Australia, because all the proceeds go to Beyond Blue and Gotcha for Life. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, obviously. That's here at twitch.tv/Wrestle Radio Australia. And you can do it on your podcast app of choice, be it YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podcast Addict, whatever. Go on there, hit subscribe. If you're on Apple Podcasts, if you could give us a 5-star review, that's really helpful. It helps us get into more ears, and that's really important. And while you're over looking at websites and looking at merch, you should check out Kickout merch, kickout.com.au. Merch of your favorite Queensland wrestlers and wrestlers from all around the country. By the way, if you're a wrestler and you want to get some merch on there, head on over to their Insta page, shoot them a message. But I know that Trent O'Day has been teasing a new character and has some interesting merch designs going up on Kickout merch soon.
Yeah, Trent's merch. Sam Cannon's merch. I love Sam Cannon's merch. I messaged him and told him how much I love that merch. Some really good stuff going up on that website. So there's a couple of them popping up now that are sort of trying to take the place of what were they called before? Wrestle merch?
Yep.
Yeah. There are a couple of them popping up there here and there. Like I'm sort of biased towards like Kickout because they're friends of ours and all they want to do is like help the guys out there make a few extra shekels, and if you get a cool t-shirt out of that, all the better for it. And if you are a worker and you do want some merch made, or you've got some merch and you want a place to house it where you don't have to worry about doing the grind of ordering the t-shirts and then getting the t-shirts printed and then sending the t-shirts out yourself, you want all of that just taken off your hands, like hit up Kickout and sort yourselves out. Seriously.
Absolutely. Now, I'm hearing whispers of big things coming for WrestleBrania. Is that right, Jeff?
Oh my God, they're not whispers. They're going to be roars. We will start announcing our matchups very, very soon down there in Adelaide. That's right, Adelaide. We're coming your way. Arthur's Art Bar on the 14th to the 17th of March. We cannot wait to do these shows with you in the room. But that's not all. Melbourne is already moving. We haven't announced a damn thing for Melbourne aside from the location being down there in Brunswick, but we haven't announced anything else. We really, really haven't. We cannot wait.
Tickies are moving.
Tickies are moving fast, mate. Tickies are really moving. And we look forward to doing our WrestleBrania thing one more time in Brunswick for the first time ever. Just across the road from Munchie's Pizza. You don't want to miss out.
Wonderful. Is there anything else we've got to mention, Todd or Jeff?
Actually, no, I do. Like, if you're watching this on YouTube, please go and subscribe.
Yeah,
we're getting very close to hitting a border where we can start trying to make a little bit of money off this to pay for the actual show. So if you could do that, that would be awesome. It would really help us out because, like we don't take, if anyone buys merch of us, we don't take any of that money. It all goes to charity. So we really don't make any money from this show whatsoever. In fact, we're in the hole by a nice amount every month. So if we can start getting some monetization for the YouTube channel, that would be awesome. So if you could, doesn't cost you anything. All you can do is hit the little button for subscribe, and you're in there. And out like Lachlan, I think he's just going to subscribe. He'll be right back. So yeah, we're very close to hitting a plateau for that. So if you could and take some time out of your day, that'd be really, really appreciative. Yeah. So also this weekend I'm at UPW with my charge Mitch Ryder taking on Jesse Love. Be a good match. Those two are like, if you've ever seen Jesse Love, the dude looks like he's chiseled out of granite. So it's going to be interesting.
Anyway, there are some great things to see around Australia this weekend and internationally as well. So for the absent Lachlan Albert,
he's there. I can see him in the ether.
And the
Lachlan,
dropping in and dropping out Todd Eastman. I've been Jeff Setti. We'll see you at the shows. And why the fuck is Never Going to Give Me Up still running around my head? Good night.
Good night.
Here I was, blaming AEW for feeding you chicken shit, knowing you mindless millennials would be eating it up as if it were chicken salad, when it's really been your fault all along.
Make chicken salad out of chicken shit. People is as people does, that's all there is to it. Put a square peg in a round hole, just never seems to